The Cathedral of Speed welcomes MotoE's second round in 2025. The last weekend in June could only mean one thing. We're in the Netherlands for the next instalment of what is set to be a titanic battle. The title race only just starting in MotoE this season. Just 3 tenths cover the top 7 on the grid. We're definitely in for an electric MotoE race in more ways than one. Good afternoon and welcome here to Assen in the Netherlands, round 2 of the 2025 MotoE World Championship season, and it is the Dutch GP. We were promised sun on Saturday. Unfortunately, that is not the case. Dark clouds overhead and a really high wind to create a little bit of more drama than what we need here in MotoE. You're in the company of myself, Kiko Giles, and Neil Morrison alongside me. And down there, somewhere in pit lane, Elliot York's quiff is getting bounded about in that really strong breeze that is out there on track. Neil, before we get into this, we've had a round in 2025 thus far already. Le Mans, complicated, quite a lot of red flags, stoppages and interruptions, none so far here at Assen. We have a full grid almost, with the exception of Oscar Gutierrez, who is out, but the number 1 is back, Eric Granado's back, Mattia Casadei is back on pole. Assen is going to be a classic.
Yeah, I think everything is set up for this to be a classic round of the MotoE World Championship after a super dramatic opening to the season back in Le Mans. It seems like an age ago already, back in mid-May. But yeah, you're absolutely right, Kiko. We had thrills and spills aplenty there, and 1 or 2 close calls as well. But really pleased to say that both Eric Granado and Hector Garzo, 2 of the riders that were injured in that first round of the season, are back here on the grid, and in Granado's case, looking pretty competitive.
In the case of Oscar Gutierrez, he is out, and we wish you well, Oscar, if you are watching. Diego Perez is the rider who comes in and super subs for the 99, and hopefully by the time we are back next time out, Oscar will be back with us as well. We had plenty of drama yesterday, Friday afternoon in qualifying. It was Mattia Casadei who put it all together to come away with a pole position, the only rider in the 139s, but it is close. As I said in the intro, it is really, really close, right the way through the top 7, back to Eric Granado, who returns, but they're all chasing this rider. The number 40, Mattia Casadei, is not just your pole sitter, he's also your championship leader. Is he going to come away with with a victory today and extend that championship lead?
Well, if he was able to win race 2 at Le Mans from 10th on the grid, you rather fancy his chances on pole position. But we have to say, it has got a little bit cloudy, a little bit overcast, and a little bit dark compared to some of the conditions we had earlier this morning. Also, the wind looks as though it has picked up pretty significantly, which might lend itself to some close racing here in race 1.
It's definitely commentary weather for us, isn't it, here in a lovely warm booth opposite the start and finish straight. But the hardy Dutch fans, they haven't gone anywhere. They're tuning in to watch this one. Andrea Mantovani, the rider second on the grid for the Clint Forward factory team, the 30-year-old from Ferrara in Italy. Well, he's previously been a winner in MotoE, of course. He had to come through Q1 to get the front row this weekend, though. Assen, really tricky if you can't put it together quite quickly like yesterday in tricky conditions, but second on the grid nonetheless.
Yeah, he's definitely one to watch, as is this rider here. Johnny Torres was a podium finisher in the first race of the Dutch TT last year in MotoE. Knows this track very, very well, of course, from his time in Moto2, his time in World Superbike, and in the MotoE World Championship. And Torres has got himself off to a decent start in the series here. He was fastest in practice yesterday, and yeah, finds himself on the front row for the first time this year.
It was his first podium last time out since Germany, race 2 last year at the Sachsenring. 3 P2s at Assen, 1 P3. Can he finally come away with victory's first front row in 2025? Before we talk about Nicholas Spinelli, who knows a lot about Assen, Elliot York, down to you on the grid. We are struggling to hear Elliot York there. That is such a shame, and we can see him on the right-hand side of the shot. Oh, here we go. We'll pick him up now.
As possible. We try for sure at 100%, and nothing.
Good luck.
Thank you.
We were struggling there to pick up Elliot York, so we missed the first bit of that. Try again, El, with the next guest, whoever your victim will be. So unfortunately there we just missed that, but MotoE Casadei on pole, as we've already spoken about. Nicholas Spinelli lines up fourth, 4 wins in MotoE, a double DNF for Assen last year in this class here in the Netherlands, but it was victory in World Superbike, and what a win it was. So he has very, very fond memories here, the number 29.
Yeah, another rider with fond memories of this circuit, Matteo Ferrari, a double victor here in 2023. And we obviously heard very briefly from Mattia Casadei, who's on pole position. We were also going to hear from Eric Granado, who is lining up from 7th on the grid. Elliot.
Yeah, Eric, great to speak to you, of course. A great day yesterday, considering the conditions that you're in. How are you feeling ahead of the race? Confident you can try and push for the podium?
Yeah, I feel good. I'm so happy to be here again, you know, after the big crash that I had, and the injury was so painful. So for me, just be here and try, and it's amazing. I'll do my best for sure. But for me, the main target is to finish the race. You know, I still have a lot of pain and a lot of limitations. So for sure, the checkered flag is the main goal today, and let's see what happens.
Great to see you, Eric, and good luck for today.
Thank you, thank you.
Eric Granado going off the top of the 3rd row of the grid, completing the 2nd row of the grid. Matteo Ferrari, the 28-year-old, double DNF in round 1, but has been a double winner here at Assen back in 2023. And then it's Alessandro Zacconi, twice a winner back in 2021 at Jerez, and also at Assen last year. We are looking now at Eric Granado, 11 wins in the class. Will he be able to get it all sorted out? So, joining Eric Granado back on that 3rd row just to complete it, Lorenzo Baldassari. Keep an eye on him, because the number 7 really does like Assen here. It was the scene of one of his first victories in Grand Prix paddock racing back in Red Bull Rookies. And Kevin Zannoni, well, on the podium at Le Mans back in last year with P2 in race 1, but also this year as well. But he finds himself down on the 3rd row. So just keep an eye out on that number 21 of Kevin Zannoni. He's got work to do. Right away through the grid, Hector Garzo, big story that the number 1 is back here in MotoE for the 2nd round of 2025. You're joining Kiko Giles and Neil Morrison up here in the commentary box. Neil, there is no warm-up lap for these guys, so if it has been drizzling, or if it has picked up a bit of wind somewhere else on the circuit, they're going to reach it for the first time at racing speed.
Yeah, these riders have no siding laps. They also haven't been out on the track before the siding lap today, so it is very much into the conditions that we have, completely blind. But that has been part and parcel of the MotoE staple since this championship came into existence in 2019. And yeah, you have to say the majority of these riders are well used to the scenario by now. But you can see some of the umbrellas there getting battered around on the grid. It is going to be very windy, and I think that might keep everything quite closed up here, Kiko, for the first race.
You're going to have to be very, very careful, particularly going down the Wienschlang. You see tend to get a little bit of wind blowing right across you, and you've got to be really careful into turn 6, and then when you flick it left into turn 7 as well. Yeah,
that could be a problem point on the track for the field here. And with just a minute to go, I think it's time to throw over to you, Kiko. Who's your tip for this one?
Oh, you've thrown me under the bus. I don't know about throwing over. You've got to go with Mattia Casadei. For me, he's looked good all weekend. He's on pole for a reason, and he is your championship leader. What about you? It'd be rude not to ask.
I'll go with Alessandro Zacconi from 6th on the grid. Great rides here last year. I think he might have something up his sleeve. Elliot?
I'm going to go Casadei, gents. Not really sticking my neck on the line there, but I think he looks great yesterday, and I think he's going to back up his Le Mans win with another one here.
Sorry, that option's taken and you're out of time to submit your latest one. So Elliot is not in the running for €5, signed personally by Neil Morrison. Of course, I'm not putting my hand in my pocket for that one. As you can see, the Colin Via fans and the Fabio Quartararo fans are watching on for this MotoE Race 1 at Assen. Under starters' orders, we have the green flag at the back, and when the lights go out, MotoE goes on, and we are away, and it is Casadei who gets a brilliant start, but not a bad one either from Andrea Mantovani. Now hold your breath into Harbuck for the first time. Let's see if everyone can get through cleanly. Oh, it's tight into turn one, and I think that was Zanoni battling away there, trying to come through up into the top 5, and he does so indeed. Torres is fourth, but your leader is your pole sitter, Mattia Casadei, through turn 4. Let's get them through turn 5. Another pinch point on the opening lap, particularly in the mid-pack. That's Lorenzo Baldassarri, if he can, trying to squeeze through, but he can't this time. Everyone's safely through for now. Casadei leads.
Yeah, good start from Casadei. Perfect start for him. He's already gapping Mantovani behind. Kevin Zanoni has jumped up from 9th on the grid into 5th position, just behind his teammate Jordi Torres. So brilliant stuff from the Italian. And Matteo Ferrari gone backwards from 5th on the grid.
We said that Zanoni would need to do something special, and he has. Coming through is Zacconi. That's up into 6th place ahead of Matteo Ferrari to the number 11. He's back to 7th. Eric Granado out the seat in a backer shot as well. He's just in 9th place. He's under attack from the reigning champion Hector Garzo. Tight for 5th. Oh, very tight for 5th. Coming through, Matteo Ferrari perhaps to 6th place. Ferrari just tagging the back of Zacconi. That was down at turn 9 at the Bolt. Baldassarri now looking to come through and take P7.
Yeah, Ferrari very, very lucky there not to come a proper after that contact with the rear tyre of his compatriot up ahead. But look at this from Mattia Casadei, looking very, very strong. It looks at this point as though Mantovani is the only rider that can run this pace up front.
Mantovani looking very good indeed into the oh no, he isn't. He's looking out of shape indeed going into the chicane for the first time of asking, but he cathes it out. Brilliant stuff from the number 9 of Andrea Mantovani. Spinelli in 3rd place under attack from Jordi Torres. So Spinelli's moved up a position from his starting place. Torres moving back a position in 5th place. Zanoni ahead of Matteo Ferrari. No, it isn't. That's Zacconi for sure. Ferrari back in 7th place. The timing monitor not updating, but you can see it clearly on your screen. Big battle for P3 this.
Yeah. Zacconi has managed to make a little bit of progress after a pretty bad start. And first corner he went back 2 positions, but he's already passed Ferrari and Zanoni. You can see Maria Herrera has jumped the start. She will have to serve a double long lap penalty for that. So Herrera, who's had a tricky weekend here after her success in Le Mans, it doesn't look as though it's going to play out for her in race 1.
Thundering through turn 6. Oh, that's a big move. No, it isn't. Oh, Jordi Torres had me on the edge of my seat up here in comms then. 3 abreast down into turn 8. Zacconi's coming through Torres, or is he? Torres going to try and wipe his nose for him on the exit. Shoulder to shoulder. A little bit of elbow barging as well down to turn 9, and Torres holds the high ground. Nicola Spinelli, if he had eyes on the back of his head, would have been having a brilliant view of all that, but he's got a bit of clear air now. 3rd to 4th. These two are knocking spots off each other. That's the 3rd time this lap. Torres resistant and resilient. P4 for him.
And you have to imagine Zacconi seeing the front 2 get away, and he wants to go with them, and he can't get by Jordi Torres, much to his frustration as it stands. Although Torres, the double MotoE world champion, is doing a fine job at holding them off until now. But look at this from Mantovani. He's actually looking pretty racy there in 2nd position.
Mantovani through the 3rd sector and particularly in the 4th sector looks very, very strong. If he can put the whole lap together, he might be able to make an attack here on Mattia Casadei. He's got a little bit of slipstream. Fastest lap of the race. Oh, and of the weekend last time around, a 39.8, so that's not bad going for Andrea Mantovani. Through into 3rd place. Torres yo-yoing in this battle at the moment. He was looking to defend 4th. He's attacked Spinelli for 3rd and makes it stick. Spinelli back to 4th. Now he's got Zacconi for company, but this will run and run. You can be sure of it. Matteo Ferrari has got back up into the top 6 and is ahead now of Kevin Zanoni. Mantovani having a look at turn 5, thinking better of it, and Casadei leads down the Wienschlang on lap 3.
Casadei had run a little bit wide, but actually he was squaring the corner off to get an excellent drive onto this Wienschlang back straight. See, in that last lap, Mantovani was around 0.2 of a second faster than the leader, closed right back up, and it will be interesting to see whether this battle for 3rd will be able to get closer to the lead 2 riders, with Torres now leading the way in place of Spinelli.
Mantovani looks really good in the middle of the corners as well. He's carrying a lot of corner speed. It's a more sweeping line, I think, for Casadei in late apex, but in the middle of the corner, it really looks like Mantovani has got something a little bit special. Let's watch them through this 3rd and 4th sector. Jordi Torres lays a big darkie out on turn 11. That was spectacular, but look, all eyes up the front because Mantovani is charging and charging. He's got the ram's hook now, this big long left-hander, and then we're into the chicane. Spinelli's trying to come through for 3rd, and it looks like Casadei's just going to hold off 4 now. Spinelli looked to come through to third, now finds himself in 5th. Hello, Alessandro Zacconi, P4 and on the green on the exit of the chicane.
Yeah, it could well be P3 coming into turn 1 here because he's lining up Torres for a bit of a move, and it looks as though Spinelli though is going to respond.
Oh, Matteo Ferrari, where was he going then? He got that all crossed up. Oh, and again as he jumps over the curve back onto the track, and he's going to lose another place. His fellow countryman Lorenzo Baldassari barrels up the inside, runs wide, and Ferrari's taking it all back. So an eventful opening start to lap number 4 for Matteo Ferrari, who finds himself now well out of the battle for 6th place, and indeed he is down in 8th behind Lorenzo Baldassari.
Yeah, shame that Ferrari. He was actually the fastest rider on track the last time around. Zacconi as well was just a little faster than the leader Casadei. So Zacconi, if he can clear Spinelli and Torres up ahead, you fancy he could have a bit of a crack to get on the back of the lead too. You can see he's another goal here at Spinelli. Obviously it's a bit of a tall order trying to get past this duo, the Spaniard and the Italian. They have proved very aggressive. And look at Spinelli, another move potentially underneath him at the bolt, although Zacconi manages to maintain position.
Jordi Torres not really looking to make any inroads so far into this lead duo out front. Casadei and Andrea Mantovani. It is Italians 1 and 2. Spain and Jordi Torres there in P3 as they come through. All of the fast stuff charging down through 13. This is 14 into 15 now. This long left-hander. Track limits warning for Alessandro Zacconi. So Zacconi, we said he was on the green on the exit of the chicane. He can't do it too many more times. Holds 4th for now. He's caught back up with Jordi Torres. Nicolas Spinelli looking to try and take any advantage if there is a couple of misdemeanors ahead of him.
Yeah, fastest lap of the race coming in from Casadei, 39.7, another fastest lap of the weekend so far. And both he and Mantovani are starting to ebb clear of Torres, Zacconi and Spinelli just behind. The gap between 1st and 3rd now up to 1.4 seconds. 2/10 the leaders eked out in that last lap.
Very strong stuff indeed at the moment for the 2 out front. Casadei still holding the advantage though. You wonder just how much longer that is going to be the case, because Mantovani is all over him at the moment as they come down the back straight one more time. Track limits warning for Zacconi, Baldassari, Hector Garzo, and at the back of this field Tommaso Occhi. So you can see that with your the little exclamation mark hazard sign that's in grey and the sidebar of the timing tower. So if anyone gets that, Matteo Casadei also has one. That's just come up as well. So Casadei might be leading this race, but he's pushing on and he is exceeding track limits on a few occasions. Then he won't have too many more opportunities to do that without copping a penalty.
Yeah, he'll have to be careful. That'll be coming up on his dash just to let him know that he doesn't have many more mistakes in him around the outside of this TT Circuit Assen. You can see here that Mantovani looks very comfortable just sitting behind his compatriot up ahead. He's not doing anything too crazy to try and stay in that slipstream. You have to imagine come the last lap he probably could make a move here at Hoga Haida if he really wanted to, but you feel he's maybe just happy enough in 2nd place as it stands.
He doesn't want to show his cards too soon. He'll be wanting to keep the powder dry. He's been having a little bit of, oh, is it tight for 3rd? I can't quite work that one out. Coming through the back of shop, out the front of shop, Mantovani doesn't want to show his hand too soon. He's going to keep his powder dry, and this is your penultimate lap, and he just set the fastest lap of the race to 39.7. He is the only rider really able to keep on improving his pace right the way through this race. Andrea Mantovani, a man on a mission.
Yeah, fastest man on track, narrowly the 2nd fastest man on track was Alessandro Zacconi last time around in 4th position. He was a little bit faster than Jordi Torres. You have to imagine he's got the speed to get by the Spaniard in that fight for 3rd. But we've got 2 fights here, 2 men fighting for the victory and then 3 for 3rd position. It's set up pretty nicely with 1.5 laps to go.
It is set up. We've got yellow flags in sector 1. Someone just binned it at turn 5. We heard some scraping in the headset. Let's see who it is. Nicolas Spinelli gets it all a little bit crossed up, coming through 6 and 7, but no crossing up at all from Alessandro Zacconi. Slots it through at the inside of Jordi Torres at Steckenwald. Turn 8, that's a great move there. But at the front, really, this is the battle we want to be watching. Oh, it was Alessio Finello who's gone down on the 2nd of the Gresini machines, and that bike. Oh, he's not the only one. That's Luca Bernardi, the San Marinese rider, a rookie in 2025. Did they go down together, or was it separate incidents. If it was, there'll be a penalty coming for someone if they crashed under yellows. Look at this, Mantovani pushing Cassidy along through turn 12, 13 here, 14 this kink, and this long left-hander into 15. Will he want to have a go into the chicane? I wouldn't if I was Mantovani, but that's why I'm up here in comms. He thinks better of it anyway. Chicane for the penultimate time. Last lap incoming. Mantovani is going to launch an attack for sure.
Yeah, you would have to imagine. And there's nowhere he looks stronger on this track than coming through that fabulous final sector. Turn 12, Moivenmere is where Mantovani looks really good. He gets a great drive out of there and then into Hogaheide and potentially the Ramshoek. Could a move be incoming on the final lap just there? Could he time his victory attack to perfection?
Where do you want to be leading around here, Neil? Where do you want to take that risk to go to the front? Do you want to really leave it to the chicane, or do you want to get it done earlier? Oh, he's going to have a choice, because Cassidy has blown it on the last lap. Can you believe it? Well, Andrea Mantovani was piling on pressure. He was piling it all on, and he has absolutely left it is Cassidy on the floor in a pile of gravel. So Andrea Mantovani has inherited the lead of this race, and now Alessandro Zacconi. Well, if Mantovani rolls out of this, you could be sure that Zacconi is going to chase after her first win of this season, but it's a disaster for Cassidy.
Yeah, that is crazy from Cassidy, the former champion, dumping it out of the lead. That is most unlike him, but it showed you just how hard he was having to push to try and keep Mantovani behind. Now, for Mantovani, it's all about keeping his head. Can he hold this advantage through the final sector? He's been so strong through here all race long. You have to imagine with the finish line in sight, it is pretty much job done, although Zacconi has managed to get about 0.2 of a second out of his lead on this lap so far.
I think it's all done unless a mistake happens for Andrea Mantovani. It has been a long time since we saw the number 9 on the top step. Does he keep it all neat and tidy in the chicane? Don't go on the green. He doesn't go on the green. He takes the checkered flag. Andrea Mantovani adds his name to the winners list in 2025, ahead of Alessandro Zacconi and Jordi Torres. Nicolas Spinelli off the podium and has to settle for 4th. 5th place for Matteo Ferrari. Balda comes through for 6th place. Granado on his return 7th. Zanoni Garzo's return leaves him in 9th, and a top 10 for Romania and Jacopo Hosjuk. But Andrea Mantovani, he is Mr. Charisma on this MotoE grid, and this is going to be some party here. Race 1 in the Netherlands goes the way of the number 9.
Yeah, fantastic stuff from Mantovani. He pushed Mattia Cassidy all race long, didn't give him any chance to breathe, and the pressure told eventually into turn 5 on that final lap. The front just tucked.
I'm not really... now
that is the yellow flags.
That is very interesting. Mattia Cassidy has lost the front at turn 5, but of course that is where we saw the incident the lap previous involving Luca Bernardi and Alessio Finello. Yeah. And there you can see in the onboard the marshals are walking away. That
could be a double disaster. He's not just crashed out of turn 1, but he could have hamstrung himself severely for race 2. We've already had a precedent for that this weekend, Kiko. Barry Baltus yesterday crashing at the Gert Timmer chicane when yellow flags were out. He was handed with a double long lap penalty. I think Cassidy is going to have to serve a couple of long lap penalties in race 2.
Well, that is going to make race 2 very interesting, but you can't take anything away from your winner. Andrea Mantovani in the Clint Forward team on top then, ahead of Alessandro Zacconi and Jordi Torres. That's a podium, back-to-back podiums for Jordi Torres. That's something to be happy about. And for Zacconi, after misfortune in race 2 last time out at Le Mans, back in P2.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have great variation in MotoE this year. 3 races so far, 3 races into the championship and 3 different winners. Oscar Gutierrez, Cassidy, and now Andrea Mantovani adds his name to that list. The first time that he's won a race in this category since 2023, back when he was riding for the RNF squad. Last year was his first year with the Clint Forward team, and it took a little bit of time for him to become acclimatized to that squad and to their working methods, but he clearly has started this year in fine style. On the podium in the first race and on the victory step in the third. Mantovani, very much a championship player in 2025.
He really is, and that's going to really rocket him up the order as well as far as the championship is concerned. We'll have a little look at that a bit later on. What I've just realised there is I went for Mattia Cassidy, you went for Alessandro Zacconi. Elliot copied me, but it was invalidated anyway. So out of all three of us, we know nothing about MotoE in 2025, just the way we like it.
News just in.
Breaking news. They're all the same. Andrea Mantovani in P1, then 25 points for his championship charge, and that is a massive coup when you have got Mattia Casadei scoring nothing. The championship lead for Casadei anyway was already slender, but he has now got a very, very important race 2 coming up later on.
Yeah, he certainly does. He looked bulletproof in those kind of situations in his championship year in 2023, did Casadei, but 1 or 2 instances where he crashed out of really promising positions last year, and that is not a habit you want to be in, especially when you're crashing out under yellow flags, and that could really come back to haunt him later this afternoon when we have race 2. But a quick word for Alessandro Zacconi in second. Obviously starting from 6th on the grid, did have a bit of a nightmare start and first turn. I think he was back in 8th, so for him to recover to 2nd and just under half a second off the victory, you have to say that's a pretty decent recovery. But you were saying he's the king of charisma, is Mr. Andrea Mantovani. He is certainly a unique character. There's not too many like him around racing paddocks in the world.
He is the fastest hairstyle in this paddock, of course, Andrea Mantovani. That's a wonderful head of hair that he has got. It's great to see him celebrating there. Looks like Savoni Corsi is down there as well, celebrating with him. So Andrea Mantovani, fantastic stuff. And we will will this be the last time we see him dancing? Besides the fact we hope so.
I hope there's more dancing to come. Maybe when he goes over to speak to Elliot in Parc Ferme, there'll be a little jig incoming. I would definitely welcome that.
There's definitely one thing for sure, in that is Andrea Mantovani will be able to dance better than our headphone-wearing pit lane reporter there on the centre of shot next to the camera with the grey headset on. No one wants to see Elliot York's hips move, that is for certain. Andrea Mantovani takes the plaudits then. 2nd place for Alessandro Zacconi. Jordi Torres, let's have a little chat about him, shall we? Less than a second off victory. The 3rd place last time out at Le Mans was very, very positive. I tell you what, let's not have a chat about him, let's have a chat with him. El, down to you.
Jordi, podium here in race 1 at Assen. How are you feeling after that? A great battle and then eventually on the podium?
I feel great with my pace, but maybe in the first laps I need to overtake the most sooner than possible Spinelli, because her rhythm gives a little gap between the front riders. But after my pace alone is like the front guys. Yes, it's good to be another time here on the front, doing a great battles, fighting elbow by elbow with the other guys. And yes, the last laps, I don't have any more with the rear grip, but for sure, after we have another chance to improve a little, or try to improve the bike, and we'll see what happens. But for sure, we are here.
Good job and good luck for race 2 later on.
Thank you.
He most certainly is here. Jordi Torres approaching, I think, maybe the best kind of shape that we've seen for him in the last couple of seasons. Really strong start to the year, and had he got past Nicola Spinelli a little quicker in that race, you have to imagine maybe he would have been even closer to Mantovani up at the front towards the end. But another podium, back-to-back podiums for him, and yeah, starting this year very well indeed.
He really is. This is the Jordi Torres of old, of course. He was maybe a little bit off the pace last year, but he's definitely back on the pace this year. I think we're going to be getting ready very soon. Yes, we are, to speak with Alessandro Zacconi. P2, L, take it away.
Alessandro, great job, P6 on the grid to P2 on the podium. How would you assess that race for you?
Well, I'm happy, but the problem was yesterday in the qualify, because I don't feel good. We have some electronic problem. The bike was not perfect. I ride 7/10 slower than last year, so that one wasn't our position. Today we adjust the bike. I was really fast, but not many laps, so it was difficult to overtake. I was, I think, one of the fastest rider in the track after half race. I think that I was able to recover also the first one, but 7 laps race, so we can do a lot of things, but I'm super happy the team did a crazy job tonight. They work until 2 a.m. and we are on the podium, so it's good.
Good job and good luck for race 2.
Thank you very much.
Great stuff from Alessandro Zacconi. Was so nearly a double race winner at the TT Circuit Assen last year. Was passed on the last lap after leading all of race 1 by Hector Garzo, and then he went on to win race 2. So his pedigree here is without question, and he'll certainly be starting as one of the favourites later this afternoon for race 2.
Italy, Catalonia, now Assen. It is a third win in MotoE for Andrea Mantovani, and this is going to be fun.
Andrea, you pushed Matteo all the way. He eventually crashed and you've won race 1 here in Assen. How are you feeling? What are the emotions?
It's incredible emotion because Assen is my favorite place. The people is fantastic. The support is incredible. And this weekend I work very, very well with my team. And I don't know. I'm very happy because I do many sacrificate, okay? And but thank you forward for this opportunity. Thank you for all sponsor, and viva la vita.
Good luck for race 2, Andrea.
Thank you.
Well, we did promise it would be a funny one, and he didn't disappoint. Yesterday he said Tanto Gas, so this is what Tanto Gas looks like. P1 for the third time in MotoE for Andrea Mantovani.
Tanto gas, tanto emozioni, you would have to say in that.
Ooh la la, look at you with your speaking in Spanish.
Yeah, amazing stuff from Mantovani. He is now the leader of the MotoE World Championship after 3 races. Now has quick arithmetic tells me 13-point advantage. It took me a little longer than it should have done to work that out.
It's the championship standings in front of us on the screen say 13, so I am going to run with that as well. And of course, just to clarify, yes, we know Andrea Mantovani is Italian. It was a joke up here in comms. P1 for Mantovani, as we said already. Zanoni up there, Zacconi, sorry, excuse me, in second place. Third for Jordi Torres. Just whilst we're waiting for them to come on the podium, shout out to Jacopo Hosjuk and Timo Ekvaga, 10th and 11th, and also Diego Perez, super sub, points on his debut.
Yep, good stuff that from Perez. Also, I have to draw your attention to Eric Granado, 7th place. He said to Elliott on the grid, the aim was to finish and get some experience, get some confidence back after that horrible leg injury that he suffered all the way back in France. He said here on Thursday to you, Kiko, I believe that just being here is something of a victory for him. So great to see Eric back and looking competitive despite not being at 100%.
Yeah, he said he's lost a lot of muscle, particularly from the right leg. So once he is back up and training and back to full fitness, expect Eric Granado to come shining through, but perhaps not this weekend at a circuit where he's had 2 victories at in the past. Jordi Torres, the first one to the podium, P3. Then it is Zacconi, but wait for the round of applause for your race winner. Andrea Mantovani's going to make his way to P1, and that's popular. That really is popular.
Yeah, it really is fantastic to see such a huge crowd here at the TT Circuit Assen to watch the first MotoE race here on Saturday. Obviously, we've got a packed out schedule with Moto2, Moto3 qualifying coming up, then the Tissot Sprint at 3 p.m. as Jordi Torres lifts aloft his trophy for 3rd place, and of course race 2 just coming up after that for MotoE.
We have Federico Benassi, the Ducati Rotary IT manager, on trophy handing out duty here at the moment at Assen. Round of applause from everyone involved. And look at Andrea Mantovani. He is a character. Please never change, Andrea. Absolutely fantastic. And that win. Oh, has he broken it already? Andrea Mantovani, he's going to have to do it again now later on in race 2. Oh, you got to love him. Well, I think we're going to get the Italian national anthem. It's always a special occasion. Andrea Mantovani would not be out of place in the 80s or the 90s, would he? He is a real retro character, and that is why we love him. He wears his heart on his sleeve, and he is one of the coolest guys in the paddock. And now the Prosecco will flow, and that is race one. Celebrations coming to a wrap, at least on camera. Neil, what a race it was. Late drama right on there with Mattia Casadei crashing, and obviously now crashing under yellows. That's going to run and run.
Prosecco!
Perfect.
You might want to lay off that before race two, Andrea. But
I think he had a bottle before he came on.
Take another swig, why not? You certainly earned it after that performance. And, well, more of the same, please, in race two, Kiko. I think we can say safely that you'll want to stick around after the Tissot sprint to watch the second running of MotoE here, because that was excellent stuff. And I'm sure race two is going to be equally dramatic.
And, of course, if there is any Prosecco DOC left in the bottle for race two, Neil Morrison and myself will be very much willing to accommodate that if there is no room for it down in the E paddock. I speak particularly to Andrea Mantovani before he drinks the whole thing. It is time for the photo opportunity then, and we will fade out and have a look at the results and the standings very, very soon. But Andrea Mantovani, his third career win in MotoE, and looking very cool, calm and collected doing it too. 25 points added to Mantovani's championship tally. That puts him as the new championship leader. 54 points for him. Kevin Zannoni second ahead of Jordi Torres. Zacconi it was, though, who was second in the race, not Kevin Zannoni. That was down in 8th place for him. Outside the podium position, Spinelli, your World Superbike Assen winner from last year, 4th. Matteo Ferrari completing the top 5 in what was a real topsy-turvy affair for the number 11. Baldassari up there in 6th place. And as I've said already, shout-outs to Jacopo Hosjuk for Romania inside the top 10, as well as Tibor Eric Varga in 11th. And also to Hector Garzo, 9th place for him. Solid points on the board after his first 7 laps back since injury. The standings, Mantovani moves from 3rd to 1st with a 13 points advantage over Kevin Zannoni, who retains 2nd. Dropping from the lead, Mattia Casadei was 36 points coming into this race. He leaves on 36. Work to do, and an 18-point deficit for race 2 to work itself out. Maria Herrera, well, a double long lap penalty for her also drops her right down to 9th place, but it is all the way down to 19th at the moment. Diego Perez, your super sub for the year, then in 19th place, and he's got another chance this afternoon to score some points. Well, we're going to sign off there and leave you with MotoE highlights. Race 2 coming up at 4 o'clock after the MotoGP sprint. But right now, Moto3 qualified. Neil Morrison stays put. I'm out the way for Lewis Suttery to move in. Enjoy.